PC gaming has seen a surge in popularity as people transition to utilizing computers due to their power and versatility. If you want to play the majority of the games available, the Steam client is almost a necessity, as they aren't anywhere else. Therefore, Steam has become massive since its original release date in 2003, dominating the market with tens of millions of daily active users and generating billions of dollars. While Steam isn't necessarily a monopoly, as it doesn't prevent companies from creating their own launchers, it's apparent what developers and players use for PC games. However, in contrast to other industries, people are indifferent or even ecstatic that Steam is significantly ahead of the competition. Despite the copious amount of publishers deciding to construct their own launchers, Steam's prominence is consistent, and the foreseeable future highlights no signs of slowing down. So, let's discuss why Steam maintains its top position and still considered the best platform for games. The most important factor is an obvious one: the tremendous game collection at the disposal of consumers. Currently, there are over 100,000 games, accompanied with a variety of different genres. This already massive number is constantly increasing every day, with almost 19,000 games added in 2024, or a staggering average of 52 games each day. 2025 is on pace to reach a similar number, with 6,700 games added so far. You have the opportunity to choose from 2D games, to games containing a female protagonist, to racing games, and much more, all offering a multitude of intriguing selections to purchase and play. This diverse catalog includes a plethora of popular developers releasing highly anticipated games. Steam possesses this vast collection dated back to 20 years, ensures everyone using the software is guaranteed to locate new titles they find entertaining. This can be exemplified by exploring the store and proceeding to find generally interesting games. It undoubtedly puts into perspective the available titles. The expansive game collection on Steam is in contrast to other launchers. In 2024, the PC Gamer website did a ranking of the current most popular game launchers by assigning them percentages corresponding to the usability and various features. As expected, Steam is noticeably ahead of its competition, being rated 13% higher than Good Old Games, which is often considered the second best launcher by the majority of the PC gaming community. Nevertheless, Steam fully transcends their catalog, with Good Old Games having 10,000 games, still being impressive, but lacking the niche titles people typically discover on Steam. This point is further underscored by the evaluation of the remaining launchers, with Xbox ranking the next highest at 65%. It's praised for offering first-party games at launch and for its comprehensive Game Pass service, which grants access to a broad selection of titles for a cheap monthly subscription. It's similarly outpaced in terms of overall catalog size, providing approximately 2,800 games on PC. From these comparisons, it's undeniable that Steam's collection is unmatched, contributing to its overall positive perception of it, in addition to being considered superior to the competition. People usually don't want to constantly switch between various platforms to play different games, as the software requires time to start up, resulting in an overall irritating process. Moreover, important stats, such as achievements earned or hours played, do not carry over between platforms, resulting in diminished overall count progression, which is often a satisfying aspect for people to track. The general dissatisfaction with the increase of game launchers is exemplified by the ongoing criticism from gaming communities, particularly as more publishers continue to introduce their own platforms. This frustration is especially pronounced when a launcher is created solely for a single title that supports only a limited number of games from the same developer, resulting in poor overall utility. In contrast, Steam offers a vast and diverse game library, ranging from popular live service titles to a wide array of compelling indie games, allowing many users to rely on a single platform. This convenience eliminates the hassle of switching between launchers for different games, helps preserve valuable user data. Moreover, it reflects a broader indifference towards Steam's dominance in the market, as the convenience it provides significantly outweighs concerns about monopolization. Ultimately, Steam's extensive catalog remains a massive reason for its success, a trend highly likely to continue given its stronghold on the industry. Portraying the multitude of games on Steam is the store, possessing a user-friendly interface. Once you click the store, you're instantly displayed a diverse range of categories, helping navigate to specific places to search and discover new titles. The high amount of attention towards recommended games is a great part of the store, as it's curated to a person's library and their gameplay hours on particular games. There's multiple sections inspired off the different games you play, simplifying the process of locating new games with similar styles. In combination with the customized lists is the discovery queue. Here, Steam creates a list of games to click through that pertain to similar factors of the suggested games, such as your current wish list and other games you previously played. You're presented with a finite number of games you can explore, before deciding if it's something you're thoroughly interested in. Following this, it can be added to the wishlist or ignored, transitioning to subsequent titles. Wishlisting, in particular, serves as a highly practical feature, as it ensures you remember the game in the future. Moreover, a person automatically receives notifications on sales or supplementary content being released, helping them stay informed on games they previously found intriguing. Considering its functionality in discovering new games quickly, the discovery queue is the best way to find items that complement your interests, which is essential for any store. Another amazing aspect of the store is the comprehensive information presented when viewing a game's page. Upon clicking a title, users are immediately shown the release trailer, followed by essential details such as the number of reviews alongside the overall sentiment, the developer and publisher names, release date, and the game's most popular tags. This excellent trend of clarity continues as you scroll further. Various editions of the game are prominently displayed on the same page, eliminating the inconvenience of navigating to separate screens just to compare or purchase different versions. Beyond pricing and editions, additional key information is made accessible. Indicators for features such as single player or multiplayer support, controller compatibility, and available languages are all marked. Steam also highlights recent updates, events, and announcements directly on the game's page, offering people a sense of the game's current state and community engagement. Social media links and community hubs are often integrated as well, making it easy to join discussions or explore other resources related to the game. Altogether, this creates a uniquely customizable and informative storefront experience. Developers are given the tools to present all the relevant information consumers need to make an informed purchase, minimizing the need to seek out third-party sources. Despite the copious amount of content on each page, the layout remains clean and intuitive, avoiding clutter and reinforces the store's reputation for accessibility. Finally, at the bottom of each page resides one of Steam's most distinctive features, the customer review system. Unlike the traditional point-based formats illustrated on several websites, Steam adopts a simpler but more impactful model. Here, users rate games as either recommended or not recommended. Therefore, this design reshapes how reviews are interpreted. For instance, a player might enjoy a game for hundreds of hours, but still mark it as not recommended due to glaring weaknesses or lack of a broad appeal. The system prioritizes clarity and speed, allowing people to quickly assess whether a game is worth their time. This is especially important for game platforms where typing space is limited, there's an inability to add supplemental images, and first impressions matter. Generally, it's relatively unserious, especially if you sort by funny reviews, where people discuss literally anything but the actual game. Nonetheless, it still sometimes has great reviews of games, and the innovative assessment used adds to its appeal. Another factor noteworthy of mention is a refund policy for Steam Store. Steam possesses one of the best refund policies, being lenient in its requirements and issuing it relatively swiftly. Refunds are an important part of game stores, as there are numerous reasons the game failed to live up to your expectations. Perhaps you're encountering several game-breaking bugs, causing it to be unplayable, or it could be something extremely simple, such as disliking the voice acting. Whatever the case, the requirements remain consistent, applying within 2 weeks of purchase and less than 2 hours of playtime. Assuming those requirements are met, the refund is guaranteed. The actual application process is straightforward as well, corresponding to the seamless features elsewhere on the client. Typically, 2 hours is more than sufficient to conclude that a game isn't worthwhile, and the user has the capability to promptly be reimbursed. Nevertheless, in specific cases, the refund can still happen, even if those requirements aren't met. Generally if the game is buggy or has immense performance issues. Now, Valve was compelled to implement a refund system due to a 2014 lawsuit, which highlighted they were violating Australian consumer protection laws. However, making it global, in addition to the 2 hours within 14 days standard, was voluntary, further enhancing the customer experience. Perfectly synchronizing with the plethora of available games and the dynamic store is the consistent sales happening throughout the different seasons, in addition to the frequent special offers in between the bigger events. While publishers and developers discount their own games, Steam's landscape certainly plays a role in game sales, as shown by the number of games that get marked down. For these deals, they are positive to see because of the absolute bargains they provide, with many of the critically acclaimed games falling below the $10 price range. To fully highlight the appeal and impact of these sales, let's commence with the most popular category, being the seasonal-based ones. Seasonal sales occur once in each season respectively. Steam emphasizes the winter and summer festivals as the duration is typically lengthy at 2 weeks. Additionally, game prices are marked substantially lower, sometimes being a 20% difference compared to the spring and fall. Most notably for these two seasons is the tremendous amount of games on sale, easily being the premier time to buy titles. These seasonal events provide 4 major opportunities each year for users to take advantage of exceptional deals. For example, the most recent spring sale, which ran from March 13th to March 20th, offered a vast selection of discounts across a wide range of titles. Notably, Cyberpunk 2077 reached its lowest price on PC launches at $24. Despite the fact it's fastly approaching 5 years since release, the game is still a high quality experience, making the deal especially worthwhile. Another game was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, widely considered one of the masterpieces that came out in 2024. Although it had only been available on Steam for 2 months prior to the sale, it received an impressive 30% discount, an enticing offer for any Final Fantasy enthusiast eager to experience the game on PC. While the AAA games are primarily discussed, where people converse about the greatest deals for sales, coincided with the well-known titles of the indie games. During the same spring sale, Undertale was discounted by 90%, dropping to just $1, its lowest price to date. Beloved for its memorable soundtrack and compelling narrative, it's a title most people are at least familiar with. Similarly, Ori and the Blind Forest, often praised as one of the most aesthetically pleasing 2D games, saw its steepest discount yet, with 80% off at a mere $4. These examples only scratch the surface. The volume of discounted titles during seasonal events is consistent. As a result of their popularity and scale, these sales often lead players to discover new games they may have never considered playing, but in time, come to enjoy. As previously mentioned, the seasonal sales are the predominant events for Steam's store. However, the various smaller sales in between flawlessly harmonize to still offer discounts if you desire new games. Stating there is an abundance is an understatement. In fact, presently in 2025, there has been 360 sale events in the span of 5 months, consistently having multiple events happening concurrently. The variety is noticeable when viewing the different items on discount. Parallel to indie and major release games, both appearing a multitude of times in seasonal sales, there are certain sale events catered to both genres, created by the developers. For instance, recently a sale named Indie Assemble had a duration of May 5th to May 11th. They offered a collection of indie games derived from an assortment of categories. In total, 1,204 products were featured in the event. It's fascinating viewing these indie games in isolated places. This provides them the opportunity to stand out, as they're in company of other indies. However, typically the majority of games highlighted aren't currently on sale. For Indie Assemble specifically, only 172 of the 1,204 games were discounted, with a minuscule 42 offering its historical low. Regardless of only a small portion appearing on sale, it combines hundreds or sometimes thousands of the games, increasing awareness due to the diverse range of genres and popularity levels included. Consequently, this feature has become commonplace, being especially useful for smaller scale games and contributes to the overall efficiency in discovering new titles. This sentiment is reflected throughout all events, no matter the size, as bigger developers mark down their games considerably as well. The regularity and variety is honestly surprising, making it challenging to retain every discounted game. Despite this, it's extremely beneficial to Steam's store, resulting in users purchasing additional games and saving money for the entire year. These deals are largely unparalleled and remain difficult to find elsewhere, particularly when compared to other PC launchers or even console storefronts. The competitive nature of the PC gaming landscape incentivizes frequent and substantial discounts, as developers must contend with tens of thousands of other titles competing for attention. This dynamic is especially evident during Steam sales, where the platform's immense catalog encourages developers to offer price reductions in an effort to stand out among the overwhelming competition. Altogether, Steam sales are an essential part of the client, heavily contributing to an amazing user experience, as it enables users to enjoy a wide range of games at great price points. This of course leads to people's ever-increasing backlogs, which may potentially be a good or bad thing depending on the number of current games you need to complete. Nevertheless, considering their frequency and grand scale, it's almost pointless to purchase games off sales, further enhancing the allure of Steam's store. Evidently, Steam's straightforward store, in addition to frequent sales, play a massive role in attracting users and sustaining the satisfaction in the launcher. The numerous games that can be discovered and brought throughout the year create an exciting experience due to its potential variety. Correlating with the store and game collection is the achievement system, being accessible for the majority of games. Achievements are a feature that keeps people's engagement long after a purchase is completed. This is because they present difficult challenges or hidden Easter eggs to complete in-game, highlighting a person's dedication to a particular game. These progression systems are everywhere in the gaming world, such as consoles like Xbox and PlayStation. Steam is no exception, and although it hasn't received several updates to improve, it's still excellent in comparison to its competition. Steam achievements are pretty self-explanatory. The digital awards distributed will complete a specific set of actions or reaching a milestone. There are countless things they pertain to, and over time, developers have become innovative to aid replayability. For example, some of the common ones they typically include is defeating the different game bosses, require overall game progression, and potentially skill, depending on the difficulty of the fight. On the other hand, you may need to locate the maximum amount of a certain collectible, making online guides and thorough exploration a necessity. Nonetheless, the sentiment attached to them resonates deeply with the majority of people, causing increased playtime, incentivizing them to finish their ever-evolving library. Games usually possess plenty of achievements, often reaching a range of 30 to 50. The variety is definitely the most important aspect, as it ensures the experience is enjoyable throughout. In addition to accentuating all areas of the game, following the completion of all achievements, you're typically awarded a final achievement. It emits this prestigious feel by radiating a glowing effect, and the percent of people that acquire the achievement being alongside it complements it perfectly. Furthermore, in your game section in the account profile, 100% games is in a dedicated area titled Perfect Games, which is visible to people viewing your account. If you're further intrigued in presenting these challenges, you can additionally choose achievements to showcase on your profile. This makes attaining achievements even more appealing, as the client possesses a proper way to highlight them. Overall, Steam's achievement system isn't necessarily too unique in its features, as it presents a more conventional approach, but is still not being revamped. Regardless, its traditionality and simple nature is still captivating, persuading people to attain the highest value of their games. People desire to explore everything concerning their favorite games, and specific tasks provide a clear direction for this accomplishment, all culminating with the account showcase. Despite the immense number of positives, there has been numerous complaints about the system, with the common one being losing the 100% when new content is added, like DLCs or massive updates. These are accompanied with new achievements to unlock, thus removing the perfect game from your account. The only way to reacquire it is finishing the newest achievements added, forcing players to purchase expansions and play more hours of a game. Unfortunately, this has the potential to be irritating, as following 100% completion, you rarely return to the game. Now suddenly, the perfected game is removed from your account, encouraging you to come back to preserve the prestigious title. We discussed other progression systems earlier while highlighting PlayStation as possibly the most prominent one. It manages to avoid this massive problem through its acclaimed system, as in contrast to Steam, it involves different colored trophies corresponding to the difficulty of attaining it. Reasonably, the highest rarity trophy is the Platinum Trophy, possessing a prerequisite of attaining every trophy for the game. Therefore, it has similarity with Steam's features, but of course, the Platinum Trophies, distinct design, makes it more grand. To solve the issue mentioned before, they are separated by expansion, assuming developers decided to include them. This ensures people still maintain the Platinum Trophies on their account, regardless of whether they start completing the newly added tasks. Simultaneously, it's less confusing, as the trophies are sharing a space, making it organized and less bloated. Despite the annoyance of needing to constantly play older games in your library, Steam's system can be considered more impressive if the account has a multitude of perfect games. It requires significantly higher dedication and is satisfying to re-attain it, as you truly completed all the available content. Accordingly, it becomes a matter of preference, leading to Steam remaining exceptional among other platforms. Otherwise, from its perceived downside, the system is appealing to most people, prompting them to become a total completionist to display their skill and diligence in multiple areas. For comparing Steam to other PC launchers, they unfortunately rarely emphasize game achievements. Additionally, developers don't recognize the importance of creative forms of progression, as the player base is already relatively insignificant, assuming the game is offered on Steam. For instance, despite good old games being a decently sized launcher, it still occasionally features games without achievements. Even if the game is unique to a particular launcher, achievements constitute valuable development time. Taking into account a portion of users view them as pointless, certain companies overlook them, especially since the overall launcher is presumably not portraying them in a similar manner as Steam. This negatively impacts the progression aspect of launchers. Furthermore, achievement systems are extremely commonplace on consoles where a plethora of people played previously or currently still use. Coming from those platforms, they desire similar mechanics, and Steam proposes that. Thus, the ability to earn and display achievements throughout your account allows for more customization and a greater incentive to maximize your games. Personality is often lacking across other clients. It's Steam's emphasis on it with achievements, in combination with other features that can be showcased, helps it stand out. Finally, when discussing Steam's stronghold on the market, it's a necessity to mention the exceptional reputation and great decision making in a variety of areas. Naturally, all the factors mentioned previously contribute to it being renowned. However, it stands much further behind generosity or great systems. Firstly, Steam has managed to avoid significant controversies throughout its 20+ year lifespan, despite its immense popularity. From researching, there are a plethora of controversies to examine, but nothing notable enough to truly impact its universal positive reception it has. In contrast, it appears every major game developer or platform has several large scandals. The reasons typically vary for each of them, but they predominantly involve a choice that's regarded as greedy or malicious. For instance, they may increase the prices of subscription services and titles, release an unfinished game riddled with bugs, or a poor working environment is revealed, all working to shatter their connection with fans. Every controversy is more motivation to switch to a competitor, but given that Steam actively circumvents them through emphasizing consumer experience, Steam can easily maintain its top position. Let's transition to the absence of a subscription service to play online. Unlike consoles, games are completely free to play online. There's no indication this will ever change. Now, other PC launchers lack subscription services to play online as well. However, it's undeniable Steam is a massive component of it not becoming commonplace. In any industry, companies attempt to act in accordance with the standards, especially if they're already placed at a disadvantage due to one entity currently dominating the market. Considering Steam is consistently at the top, it possesses a massive influence on the features included in other launchers. Therefore, Steam's viewpoint on subscriptions results in other launchers not including them to avoid potential criticism. The negative effect of gaming companies' following practices is easily highlighted with the situation in the console market. This is because the opposite of Steam's decision was demonstrated. Originally, Xbox started the trend of an online subscription, introduced at Xbox Live in 2002, costing $50 a year. This eventually led to consoles becoming oversaturated with expensive subscriptions for a multitude of services, being a massive downside for users. As several years later, PlayStation launched PS Plus with similar features. And finally, Nintendo emulated the contention with Nintendo Switch Online. They presumably follow suit due to the opportunity to generate additional revenue outside of game sales. Taking into account the competition familiarized gamers, the potential backlash was substantially less, greatly incentivizes people to commit to the choice. Presently, people are accustomed to playing online games for free on PC, partially because of Steam's decision to not add a subscription. Theoretically, if online subscriptions were added to other launchers, users would be outraged, convincing a portion of them to stop utilizing the launcher altogether. Thus, by Steam not deciding to establish its respective subscription alongside other launchers, it allowed PC gaming to be more worthwhile. This is in combination with Steam remaining favorable to its competition, as it remains consistent with the other cost-effective mechanics such as the sales. Finally, Valve's decision to introduce the Steam Deck was a perfect supplement to everything the software already has to offer. Released in February of 2022, it swiftly rose to stardom, being an official alternate option to PCs. Its biggest advantage was its convenience, as its portability permitted PC gaming away from your PC. Portable consoles quickly faded into obscurity after the mid-2010s due to mobile games and the ever-increasing power of home systems. The only notable portable hardware that launched throughout this period was the Switch. Consequently, some people craved a new system, and the Steam Deck provided one pertaining to a broad library. Moreover, the performance is impressive at its price point. Costing $470, you get access to a copious amount of Steam games with good performance on the majority of them. People also enjoyed the Steam Deck because of its comfortability. It generally felt amazing in your hands, an important factor for longer gaming sessions, and focusing on the gameplay as opposed to discomfort. Additionally, the device's size contributed as well, being decently small, enabling play in packed spaces or while laying down. All of these factors resulted in phenomenal reviews on a variety of websites. Its overall positive reception reflects the Steam client. It sold well throughout its lifespan, despite its limited marketing, being estimated at roughly 4 million sales so far. It's currently outpacing the other top PC handhelds, and will be exciting to see its future iterations, considering its present success. These 3 examples only cover a small percentage of the reasons for the strong connection between Steam and its users, in addition to the overall exceptional decision making by Valve. However, it's evident Steam intends to avoid controversial decisions in efforts to upkeep their supremacy. Ultimately, Steam has continuous dominance in the market due to its massive game collection, highly accessible store with multiple outstanding features, progression systems that can be showcased to other users, and well-liked decisions. It's unprecedented for a developer or software to upkeep their reputation for decades. But considering the platform's functionality, Steam had the ability to become an anomaly. Taking into account PC's gaming's growth, various other PC clients will continue to come out, hoping to compete with Steam. Nevertheless, consumers have grown to become loyal due to all of these reasons, and much more. Steam shows absolutely no signs of slowing down, and at this point, it's hard to imagine any other client taking its place anytime soon. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video.